GM, GM, we are live. We're waiting for one in a BBM. My StreamYard froze when I clicked go live, so I was starting to panic, but we're off. We're off. This one filled. I was kind of hoping when I hopped on in, there might be some room for some more people. And you save your BBM bullets for August. You save your BBM bullets for August. You're going to say, I am going to be strategic. And then you end up with shady advice in your draft room. I don't know how many tens of thousands of draft rooms there are, but either I'm being bum hunted by shady advice or I am running very unlucky this morning. But either way, let's get the music going. We've got Rohanosaurus Flex. I recognize that game. I think this is a high volume player. Cutler, I know I've drafted with them before. We've got ER, fantastic 90s time capsule of a show. If you've never watched the original ER with George Clooney, it is just a terrific look into the early 90s when civilization really peaked. And you get the 2-letter username, this guy's been around a while. So anyway, we're off and running. We've got less than a week left to go. Yeah, GM's getting tough pull on the pod. This is brutal because, as we all know, if you've been drafting since February, the landscape has changed radically. We used to get Ollie Gordon in round 18. We used to get Torrey Horton in round 18. Guys like Tesla in round 18. All those guys are now in round 14, 15. Ollie Gordon up to round 11, 12 now. So, now we're scraping the bottom of the barrel at the end of draft. So we're going to be scraping with people who are really good scrapers. This analogy's gone off the rails, but anyway, with guys like Shady Advice, this is going to be a tough pod. Kieran's asked, is Shady a good best ball player? Yes. Shady is one of the best DFS players out there, and he is a member of the legendary Upside. He probably has forgotten more about best ball than I will ever know. Shady Advice. So this is going to be a sharp room. We're just going to take CMC here at 6 because I am a CMC extinction event believer. If you open BRs, if you go to BRs, guess who the 101 is? It's not Jamar Chase. It's not Justin Jefferson. It's not Bijan. It's CMC. We think he's the 101, but we're scared of injury, so we're putting him at 6. Come on now. What are we doing, people? It is time to stand for something. And with these final BBMs, I'm just going to take CMC at all costs. I have 8 left, including this one, or maybe it's 7 left, including this one. Either way, we are just going to take CMC every time he is available. Best ball on call. GM to you. Thank you so much. Sending a helpful reminder for me to not mute my StreamYard again. They've changed a few settings, so I appreciate the shout this morning. Best ball on call. It looks like the draft might be moving fast because I think we have a bunch of, instead of the August normies coming who think that 30-second clocks or 20-second clocks are super fast because they're used to their 90-second, 2-minute drafts with their buddies. Let's take AJ Brown. That seems fun. I'm a little light on AJ Brown, so let's get AJ Brown onto the team. This is a room of experienced drafters, so this draft might go flying by. Let's see what Shady Advice does. Being a true legendary Upside member, he's got Bowers here at 17, took Nico at 8. It's a little bit interesting, slightly ahead of, I think Nico's ADP is like 10. But either way, we've got, I'm actually curious, is he taking him ahead? Nope, that's right at ADP. Okay, for some reason I thought he was, neighbors had flipped him. All right, let's pull this up. So we've got CMC, AJ Brown to start with. Greg says, at least you get to see some of the sharp picks a week before the season. Yeah, this is when you want to see the sharp picks, when it's too late to do anything about it. But you get to see if you're right or wrong. Dirty P, GM. Hey, Dirty P, thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Kevin says, buenos. He's here for the train wreck. Well, you've come to the right place, Kevin. You've come to the right place. I've got Shady Advice here on my right. I've got George Clooney here on my left. And let's see if we can't, I can't even say land the plane. The plane is still on the taxiway, but let's see what we can do at pick 30 here. A first inflection point. Assuming that one of these two come, do we want this elite quarterback, Allen or Lamar? Obviously, Jalen Hurts back in the round. part of me almost thinks that it's a little bit unique if you get like a Allen Lamar with AJ Brown. I imagine most people won't do that. We, however, are denied that very possibility. We're just going to go with MHJ here at pick 30. So the draft starts with CMC, AJ Brown, MHJ. I think the wheels are still firmly affixed, but stay tuned. The next big decision point we're probably going to get is, in all likelihood, Hurts will be here at pick 43. So we're going to have to decide if we want to go down that road or if we want to push elite quarterback or push quarterback. With MHJ, Kyler will likely be there at 91 if we want to kind of pencil that in and think that's how we're going to build. But we will see. We will see. Terrence says, I'm not your DFS. Ports to best ball. I asked because I hadn't heard of him in best ball until recently. I don't know offhand Shady Advice's track record. I assume it's good, but I can't tell you either way. But my assumption is that that Mr. Advice is very, very good at this. Best ball on call. Yeah, one of the sharpest in every room. Absolutely. Chad, are you getting any pointers? Yes, I have 1 pointer left, Greg. I squandered 1 pointer because I thought I had time to do it, and then all of a sudden I didn't, and so I autoed about half of it, and the team is awful. It's like stone dead. I'm pretty sure I have like Judkins Mixon, and I'm like mad at myself for not having Mixon like removed from my ranks because I did not want to go down that road. All right, let's see. Travion Henderson would be interesting. Devontae Adams a little bit past ADP is not terrible. Maybe we just make this a Jalen Hurts team and not overthink it. I'm going to queue up Hurts here. Travion, though, let's see, at pick 54. You know what? Let's do Travion. There's a slim chance that Hurts comes back to us. I'm not worried about the week 14 stuff. There's a slim chance that comes back to us. I think I'm going to like another wide receiver in this range, and then probably a running back at 67. So if I could start with 3 and 3, I think that would be good. And then I think about Kyler at 91. I'm okay with that. If Hurts wraps around to 54, again, we'll take Hurts. But the odds are, yeah, this guy's going to take Hurts if he falls this Z-Mark guy after taking Devonta there at 47. I think that's going to be the move, but that's okay. Brohanosaurus, he takes Hurts unstacked despite going Chase Higgins there. That's very interesting. I'm sure Z-Mark is coping and seething over there because I imagine that's what they planned on doing. All right, Dirty P says, hope CMC is still CMC. I knew Shanny would find a way to turn Garendo into zero Grandmaster Rug Puller. There's a war memorial to those of us who have died chasing the Niners RB2, and I am on that plaque last year from having taken tons of Mitchell, and then Mitchell went from you heard absolutely nothing to season-ending IR in just the blink of an eye. So that was super fun. That was a super fun run out that we got there. All right, let's see. Metcalf's. I like Metcalf. I like Waddle, Igbuka, Ricky Pearsall. These are all good options here. I mean, Pearsall stacks with CMC. That's kind of interesting to me. Wouldn't mind potentially going down that road. It is a little hard for me to pass on Metcalf and Waddle because I do think they're very strong. But you know what? Let's build a Niners bet here. Let's build a Niners bet. Not getting the world's greatest price on Pearsall. I mean, people were probably getting him in round 7, if I remember right, maybe even round 8 early on. But we do have to adapt to changing circumstances. So let's make that happen. Kevin saying he's the sharpest in every room. That is undoubtedly so, Kevin. We need to all be more like Kevin. Yep. Greg, Kevin agreeing there with Greg. Whoever max BBM, hop in the pointer, need 9. All right, so if you want to draft with Ant X Wall, hop on in there. Greg with the eye emojis. The eye emojis there. Terrence had 50% Mitchell as well. Yeah, that was such a bad run out. That was such a bad run out. I feel like the Mason people who drafted before Mitchell got hurt just got lucky. Like, I really do. I think I don't know if Mason was the best process pick until we got news of the injury. But you know what? That could just be cope for me. Pulling up D. Smith was a clear signal. That guy's got to take Hurts unless he didn't want him. Yeah, I feel like that too. You're more okay with naked Hurts. I mean, Devonta Smith is fine. You could definitely take him unstacked. But all right, let's see. We've got Pacheco would be the guy I want here. Where did Pollard already go? Yeah, Pollard went here. I was hoping to get one of Pollard or Pacheco at 67. Romo Dunze goes. If they had taken Pacheco, I would have gone Odunze as a week 17 to CMC, but we don't have to do that. I said I was hoping to get 3 and 3 through our first 6, and that's the way we've gone. So for the audio listeners, we've got CMC, Travion Henderson, and Isaiah Pacheco, AJ Brown, MHJ, and Ricky Pearsall. So like the way this team's started out. I think if we could do Kyler and Purdy stacked like that. Purdy's ADP is right there at 102. Kyler is at 98. So again, I think if we can pull off that double tap, we'll be feeling good. I'm not going to lock into that because if we get a falling receiver or running back value or something truly marvelous, that's the route that I think we're going to want to go there. Greg says, starting to worry about my Slim Reaper shares. Completely unintentional fade. Greg, you'll have to remind me who that is, because in my mind that's Kevin Durant, and I don't think you're talking about fading Kevin Durant. So I'm sorry. I'm not acronyms and nicknames at 8:27 a.m. I'm struggle with. Kevin, I drafted an elite running back, elite quarterback, elite double tight end team last night in honor of my man Chad, who gave me the earliest challenges this year. Yeah. Well, again, my hot take is I think double elite tight end is underdone in the big board, and I think you should do it like a couple times in BBM, just to keep yourself on your toes. All right, Jordan Addison, interesting little faller here. I don't know if I'm docking him because of the arrival of Thielen or not. Addison makes sense. Aaron Jones, not bad. I think we're just going to take a Sam Laporta share on this team. It opens up potential if we want Goff. I'm still very much into the Lions. Our plan is to take a couple quarterbacks in the next round here. So let's go down that road. We're going to queue up Kyler. We're going to queue up Purdy and hope this doesn't turn into a best laid plans situation. Let's see what Shady Advice is doing. So he went Nico Bowers, Garrett Wilson. This makes me feel good about my ginormous Garrett Wilson bags. He's got James Cook, Breece Hall, so took the faller on Hall at 56. Zay Flowers at 65. Wow, that is a big fall in Zay Flowers. So Shady Advice scooping some value, and Aaron Jones at 80. So a lot of value hounding here from Shady Advice. We'll see if his plan is to take Justin Fields at 89, or if he tries to push Fields to 104, or if he's out on Fields. But I'm curious to find out what Shady Advice's plan is. All right, Dirty P. Greg, how are you short on Smith? He goes cheap AF. Okay, so Devonta Smith is the Slim Reaper. See, I missed that nickname. I had already assigned it to someone else. Greg, we're in here with Pete. Oh my goodness. So Pete's doing his pointer, again, trying to sneak in a nice, calm, early morning draft, and ends up with one Pete Overzet. Again, one of the most knowledgeable and sharper people here. Josh Downs goes. Keon Coleman goes. Bill Krosky Merritt is tempting, but let's just stick with the plan. Let's get Kyler onto this team. There's none of these fallers are worth it. Jaden Reed, I would like a guy who's not in a walking boot. So at the very least, we get Kyler locked up. If Purdy goes, let's start thinking about our next potential backup plan. Krosky Merritt would be kind of fun. Charbonnet has been rising up. I don't have a need for Dak. Shaheed, Mooney, they would be intriguing clicks. Luther Burden, I don't know if I'd take him. I don't know if I'd take him exactly there, but he would be a bring back to CMC and Pearsall. So I don't know if this is the exact order I would go in, but just some of the thoughts I have initially. Kevin is completely fading Kevin Durant and BBM. Yes, I that's probably a good fade, but I think Kevin Durant could be pretty effective in the red zone. I don't know if you give him a little bit of space, you probably can throw some jump balls to him, but he is rather slight of frame. I don't know how that would work. Unfortunately, Brohanosaurus Jerk takes our guy. Despite having Jalen Hurts, he decides he needs to stack Juwan Jennings and Brock Purdy. That's a little unfortunate. Bo Nix is here. Naked Bo Nix is possible. You could always backstack him. Bill Krosky Merritt is available. Cooper Kupp, Shaheed, Mooney, all potential picks in this range. Krosky Merritt week 12 bye, that's perfectly acceptable with what we've got. I could do Burden and then plan to take Caleb at the turn. I don't mind that, but let's take a Krosky Merritt share. This is right at ADP, but he has been going earlier than this, and I don't want absolutely no Krosky Merritt this late in the cycle. So we're a little behind at receiver with Brown, MHJ, and Pearsall, but this is likely a team that we're going to stop at 5 running backs with McCaffrey, Henderson, Krosky Merritt, and Pacheco. So I think that's okay with us. But you know what? We are just going to adapt to what the room hands to us. There are definitely enough running backs. Okay, there should be enough running backs to where there's somebody I like with my next pick. Let's see. Pretty stacked room over there, over in the Pointer Streets with Ant X Wall. Dirty P, I've had a Pickens, Waddle, Ridley problem all season. I got more Smith in pre-draft stuff. I feel like I'm in the same way there, Greg. I feel like I've weirdly cooled on Smith, even though I have him in the pre-draft. I don't know. I've been the exact same way. I have tons of Pickens, Waddle, and Ridley. It's hard for me to take Devonta over those guys. Dirty P, not being early on JCM was a massive oversight. I was all out on the Washington running backs. Feels almost negligent. Yeah, it was tough, right? I mean, it felt like even in the best of days, it could be it was a little thin because it was, you have Eckler there doing, getting half the snaps, and you have Daniels stealing carries. So, I get where he wasn't the most comfortable click there. I think Luther Burden just makes a lot more sense, as much as I love our king, Cam Scatabo. Let's get Luther Burden onto the team despite not having Purdy. That's okay. We're going to need a couple more quarterbacks on this team. If Caleb somehow came to us, that's great. But, Brohanosaurus Flex probably needs Caleb too, because he's collecting quarterbacks he doesn't need over there. GM to you, Joel Worth. GM, thanks so much for coming in. Happy first day of Micah Parsons in Green Bay era. Well, I know, there are people who are rending their garments and gnashing their teeth over the loss of Micah Parsons in Dallas. It feels like they were probably close enough to where they could have just made it work. I don't understand it. And all the mystery box memes going around that, Jerry Jones is like, oh, these draft picks could be good players. It's like, yes, like Micah Parsons. like what are you doing? Like you're hoping you draft somebody who's as good as the guy you just let walk. But you know what? As they say, many such cases. Loveland would be interesting because that would also enable me to stop at 2 tight ends. So let's queue up Loveland. Let's queue up Scatabo, Bateman. Past that, Keenan Allen's fine. I think Tank Bigsby is intriguing. I feel like if he gets moved, it's good. And if somebody else gets moved, it's good. But as time goes on, is this trade happening? I don't know. Scatabo goes to Brohanosaurus, my new mortal enemy over there. Greg says, I think Jerry called Micah boy one too many times. Yeah, that would that certainly could sour a relationship if that was going on. Not great. Not great. All right, so we've got Loveland, Bateman, possibly Bigsby. There goes Loveland. Bateman, not my favorite click, but I think Bateman's fine. I mean, the big best ball won't tell you, but he had as many spike weeks as Zay Flowers did last year. So he could be the Zay Flowers we have at home on this team. Obviously, it's a little unfortunate that we don't have somebody we can stack, because yet another receiver that we're taking that's going to be unstacked. Let's see what we've got here for the audio listeners. We've got a 1-4-5-1 with Kyler Murray, Christian McCaffrey, Travion Henderson, Isaiah Pacheco, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Wide receiver room of A.J. Brown, MHJ, Ricky Pearsall, Luther Burden, Rashad Bateman, and Sam Laporta. I like the team so far. Would feel better had I gotten my second stack with Purdy. That didn't happen, so we're going to start thinking about back stacks. Let's see what Shady Advice has done. So since adding Zay Flowers and Aaron Jones, he added Josh Downs, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Herbert, and C.J. Stroud. So is he... Okay, guys. So Stroud is stacked. Herbert is not. So clearly the Sims are saying unstacked quarterback is okay, because he's taken Herbert here, and again, unless I missed something, he's not the lad drafter. So very interesting stuff to see that somebody who has all the data in the world is willing to take unstacked Herbert, not even really past ADP, but in there at 113. So I don't know if that's and he just took Geno at 137. I don't know. I mean, that's the Sims. Let's take Allen here. I think Braylon Allen is good, and then I can stop at 5 running backs. So we'll get Braylon Allen into the team. That just tells me that the Sims are just frothing at the mouth for quarterbacks. I guess quarterbacks did go a little early in this room. I mean, all of these guys have 2 QBs. I'm a little worried that I'm not going to get a third QB if these guys kind of read the room and start snapping them off. But Geno at 137, I mean, I know he has Bowers, but I guess it just said that the possibility of missing that stack was not worth whatever the draft pick, whatever the 2v2 is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think it's saying that 2v2 is probably not worth risking. Very interesting, though. I kind of, I wish I sometimes could get into the mind of Shady Advice and know why, because I think that's a good learning opportunity. But anyway, that's what's going on. Greg says, God, I'm not a sim guy, because WTF is that? It's hard for me to argue the Sims, but you know what? This is a vibes-based channel, and so that's just not something it's not something you're gonna see me do, but you can see other people do it. We can talk about it. We can debate the merits, but I am very reluctant to say that anything Shady is doing is a mistake. We've got Cam Ward, man, Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon staring me in the face here is going to be so brutal if we have to pass on him, but I don't think it makes sense to take Ollie Gordon on this particular team. I think we need a quarterback too badly to push that. So unfortunately, Ollie Gordon, round 13, is going to have to pass us by. Although this guy has 3 running backs, he is live to just take him there. Cam Ward goes, so that makes the decision easy. We're going to take Bryce Young. Bryce Young, of course, is back stackable in a few ways, one of which is Jalen Coker. Let's add him to the queue. I don't want to forget about Jatavion Sanders. I don't want a star method disaster, but I don't want to forget that he is in line. Ollie Gordon there goes at 153. Makes sense. Let's see, is this the Tua guy? Nope, he just likes Ollie Gordon. That's fine. All right, let's go. So we got Bryce Young. Other quarterback options, yeah, it has dried up. It has dried up big time. So we're going to have to decide, do we value, assuming Coker's even here, because this ADP is kind of fake. He's been a big riser. Is it more important for us to get a Darnold, Rodgers, Jones, or Dart? Because let's see, how many people after me? So I've got 4 people with 2 quarterbacks who are definitely live to end the QB run. So let's see. If another quarterback goes in this range, I might just have to bite the bullet and take it. But we also could just put on our big boy pants and say if we end up with a 2 QB team, that's fine. That's fine. Kevin says Sims are broken if it's recommending Geno 2 picks, 2 rounds before ADP. Dirty P says live a little tad, take a Milrow share. Maybe. I can't say I have much BBM Milrow, but I don't. I do not hate the possibility of that. Had we gotten Goff, I think Tesla would be a podium pick. Let's not miss Jalen Coker though. Let's not pass on that. I think this is a very nice 6th receiver on this team. For me, with AJ Brown, MHJ, Pearsall, Burden, Bateman, and Coker, if we had to stop at 6 receivers, I would not stamp my feet and get upset. I think that would be perfectly fine. Let's queue up some quarterbacks here. Darnold, Jones, Dart. I don't even know if this is the order. I just want to get them into the queue so I have them handy. Obviously, we've been getting more and more word that Milrow might have some goal line packages. That's a little unfortunate. It might cap some of what Darnold does. Darnold is willing to run, but I don't think the Milrow goal line stuff hurts Darnold as much as it hurts Walker or Charbonnet. For me, if Darnold's going to scramble for a touchdown, it's going to be from like 12 yards out or 6 yards out or something where Milrow won't be in. So I don't think this, hampers Darnold, because Darnold has a little bit more rushing upside. I guess, 212 yards. Yeah, nothing to write home about, but it's not like stone zero. I actually thought that number was higher, to be perfectly candid with you all, dear listeners. Ertz, Chig, those guys are fine. Will Shipley, would be a nice add. Let's get a third quarterback on the team and decide who. For me, it might just be Aaron Rodgers. I think it might just be Aaron Rodgers of this crew, because again, he's another guy we could add one of the late tight ends to, or we could add like a Roman Wilson type. I think that would be my preferred play. So let's just get Rodgers onto the team. I'm just pausing to make sure I'm not missing anything truly obvious here. All right, we'll take Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take the quarterbacks out of the queue so we don't muck that up. I'm going to put Roman Wilson in. I'm going to put Jonnu. Jonnu immediately becomes the most important click. I'll put Harold Fannin in so I don't forget about the Fannin bet. And that's where we're at. So audio listeners, we got a 3-5-6-1. We got Kyler, Bryce Young, and Aaron Rodgers, CMC, Travion Henderson, Isaiah Pacheco, Corey Krosky-Merritt, Braylon Allen. We got AJ Brown, MHJ, Ricky Pearsall, Luther Burden, Rashad Bateman, and Jalen Coker, and Sam Laporta at tight end. I don't mind this team. I think this team is fine. It would have been nice to get the Purdy bet, but that's okay. You never know what's going to happen, and I do want a little more Kyler. I do want a little more Kyler teams, I think, in this year. All right, Kevin says the Sims will keep people from winning playoff best ball and will for this too. I mean, it all depends on the quality of the data going in, right? And so, like, the saying, I'm not calling the Sims garbage, but if you have bad data in, you're going to get bad information out. So it really depends on the inputs. And I don't know how accurately you can project that. Jonnu going there is a little bit of a kick in the nuts. All right, let's take Harold Fannin here. We'll take Harold Fannin. If somebody snaps off Jatavion Sanders, we could always take Pat Freiermuth if we really want. None of these receivers are absolute musts. I do want more Malik Washington into my life, but I think I'd rather get Roman Wilson. I'm going to put DJ Giddens in the queue because I am a DJ Giddens sympathizer. I almost feel like he has a little bit more upside than another receiver. I'm curious. All right, so DJ Giddens goes. This Brohanosaurus guy is literally just the nut low of drafters. All right, The star method is safe after round 14. Also, Brontosaurus Flex is a massive DFS whale. So this guy is probably knows what he's doing here as well. All right, do we want Jatavion Sanders here? I think we just take Jatavion and we call it a day at tight end. So the tight end room is now finished. Roman Wilson, I think, will be the way we're going to lock this up. Let's say with CMC, Hendo, Pacheco, Krosky, Merritt, and Allen. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good for 5 running backs. And again, we'll take the Rodgers dart. Hopefully Roman Wilson doesn't go. That would be a pretty random click for somebody to take from us. Kevin says it's morning time. I'm going to assume he was running to take out the trash. Star method auto drafted. I don't know, Kevin, who you're talking about. Are you talking about me? This team should be Kevin approved. I have Ricky Pearsall. What more do you want from me, sir? What more do you want? Tieran says the Sims have proven nothing. The issue is I think the Sims are just going to keep getting better and better, So maybe this year the Sims don't do it, but I have to imagine it's much harder to sim get full season, simming week 16 and 17. 5 months away is got to be really tough. And the question is it leading you astray? Are the Sims so far off from reality that they're telling you to do the wrong things? Are they giving enough of a range of outcomes to where it is good? I don't know. And I'm sure they're going to work on it and make them better. Greg has been scooping that Jonnu dip. Somebody's got to get the A-Rod screen balls. Yeah, I was hoping that would be my team, Greg. Didn't happen. Jack Vetch goes, I just want to make sure I'll put Yoshivas in the queue because I would be okay with that if I had to do Yoshivas. All right, so we're going to get Roman Wilson on the team. Dirty P says, so much of my pre-draft destiny is going to be decided by Giddens. I think I ended up with him in every biggest sport. That's not bad. I think that's pretty good. What do you win? When you win with Roman Wilson? I was talking about Shady. Okay, Kevin. Well, hopefully I win something with Roman Wilson. Hopefully I win something with him because I just took him, Kevin. So we ended up with a 3-5-7-3. This is a Buck-approved format. Kyler, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers. Running back room of CMC, Travion Henderson, Isaiah Pacheco, Bill, Krosky, Merritt, Braylon Allen. Wide receiver room, A.J. Brown, MHJ, Ricky Pearsall, Luther Burden, Rashad Bateman, Jalen Coker, Roman Wilson, and then Laporta, Fannin, and Sanders holding it down. I like the team. I think it's fine. I think it's kind of a fun group. We were able to get the Coker Young connection, which could be one of those late round connections that help us get home. You know what? I'm gonna go review Shady's team so people can see who he took late. Because what am I doing? Because I know people do like to see that. So let me pull that up real quick. So we can see Shady Advice's team. So he goes 3-5-8-2 with Herbert, Stroud, and Geno. Again, the controversy was the Geno ahead of ADP pick. James Cook, Breece Hall, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, and Will Shipley. So very, I don't want to say thin, but very light on running backs, considering his first was James Cook there. Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Dante Thornton, Romeo Dobbs, Keyshawn Boutte, and Jack Betch. So once he took Geno early, he did commit to the bit with Thornton and Betch. So I personally do like that quite a bit. And then he takes Bowers and Ertz. So I think notable for me is Boutte, him taking Boutte there in the late rounds. He's not a guy that's drafted in every contest, but I know he's been somebody discussed at least at some length over in the Matic Discord. I'm going to hop in another BBM and then I'll catch up with chat. If you guys want to hop in, we're waiting for 10. So you just have no excuses. If you want to get in this one, you're good. Let me also take this chance to say, please like and subscribe. We're on the road to 200. The goal was 200 before the season starts, and that's in 6 days. Will we get there? Probably not, but we're going to try anyway, people. We're going to try anyway. So we will do what we can to get there. Waiting for 6. Greg says, I'm keeping the light on for Calvin Johnson coming back, or Calvin Ridley, because I have a lot of Calvin Ridley. I hope we don't have to keep a light on for him. Like, I feel like he's home at a reasonable hour where we don't need the light, but I don't know. I might have missed something. Calvin Austin. You're talking about Calvin Austin instead of Roman Wilson. Okay. Yeah, I just think Roman Wilson is a little more of an upside swing. I mean, he was a rookie we were excited about last year, and he missed the whole season due to injury. So I'm treating him like an intriguing rookie who is actually going to be starting this year. Dirty P said, Chad, guess how much Dirty P, this is one of your fades. This is one where you're going to be like, I have one share and it was an auto draft and I hate it. Greg says, don't do it, Ant. Triple stack with Raiders, I'll pass, says Kevin. Well, I actually don't mind it. I do not mind it. Yeah, Dirty Pete, drum roll, 0 of 143 on MHJ. Yeah, the most predictable thing, Dirty P. You just have these full fades that I just can't condone it. After the Amari Cooper extinction event, I can't do it. I can't have 0 of a guy in the first 4 rounds. It's just, I just don't know if it's a good process. I just really struggle with that. All right, so we got Mr. Worth in here at the 7. Cut Cutler has been in a few of our drafts. He is there at 11. Cut Cutler, if you're out there watching, you got to let me know. You've got to let me know. Otherwise, thankfully, Rohanosaurus Sniper is not in the room. And don't think I see anybody else. We're at the 9 hole, which means we won't be getting CMC. That's okay. We can't have everything we want in our lives. Hartman says, you've never wanted to live life on the edge, chat. Hartman, I have long maintained that if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. However, I believe if you have 0 of 143 MHJ, you're not on the edge. You have already fallen off the cliff. So you are not living on the edge. You are actually plummeting down the mountainside, trying to grab onto roots and branches. I just can't get there. I just can't get there with the full fade. Greg says, the more I looked at the card schedule, the more I capitulated to the MHJ click, still sub-market. Yes, yeah, Hartman, that is where I am on there. But yeah, I'm with you, Greg. I think the Cardinals schedule is highly favorable. I think, that Bengals game could be kind of a dud. It is outdoors in Cincinnati in December. We don't, it's tough for us to project things that far into the future. There is a chance that game disappoints, and that is going to be one of the more stacked games, in my opinion, because it is such a natural stack out of the 1, 2, and 3 holes. It's just so commonly done. The ADPs line up. So that game could make or break, probably will make or break a lot of teams, right? It's going to be hard to imagine a finals that doesn't have some of that pieces. Even if they're low advance rate pieces, there are going to be some teams that get through, based on their other drafts. So I don't know. It is a game that I don't want to be out on. And if that game does go off and you have no MHJ, it just feels like we're overthinking it a bit. So Mr. Worth does get CMC there. Now our question is, what do we want to do? Nico Collins goes, you know what, guys? I'm almost thinking of trying something, of living my truth. I'm going to take Drake London here. No, I'm not. I'm just going to take Malik Neighbors because I'm a cowardly man. I was going to try to take London and make some unique stack, but I don't think the 9 hole is the place to do it. So I'm just going to take Neighbors and tuck my tail between my legs. I apologize for rugging the chat. Maybe if I have a pick on the left, I'll try another board flip, or I'll just take CMC. I'm telling you guys a lot of things I'm not actually going to do apparently, but yeah, we're just going to take Malik Neighbors at the 9 and move on with our lives. You're falling in style, Dirty. Don't trip. Dirty P says the MHJ does not belong in the top 30, or I would take him. All right, we're up on the clock. Oh man, Genty. All right, we'll do Genty Neighbors. That is another very simple week 17 game. Yeah. So Pete famously on his Truth Serum take, said that Genty could be a massive bust, and honestly, that is a Truth Serum take that I am sympathetic to. I really could see Genty just not being good. I don't know. Everyone's willing to overlook the level of competition stuff. I mean, watching him play Penn State and getting absolutely nowhere when he finally played a good team is a little terrifying. I'm pretty sure he had 100 yards in that game, but I think he had over 30 carries. Like it was a tough scene. And Pete Carroll sometimes wants to be the smartest guy in the room. I could see like Mostert stealing goal. I see a path to failure for Genty. That said, I don't want to fully fade Genty because I don't want to fully fade any of these guys. But it did strike a chord with me. It did strike a chord with me there. Ant X Wall calling me a coward as I took London in the 8-hole in this pointer. No, I'm the coward. I'm the coward that didn't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to take London at the 9. Ant X Wall. I like London. I think he's just as good as those other wide receivers there. I think I'm low on Neighbors. I think if I remember right, my Neighbors exposure is not where I want it to be. I'll look at it after pick 40. I'm curious as to what my exposure there is because I think I'm underweight and I'm a little overweight on London as it is. Kevin says, Dirty P, you made a decision. Respect. Kevin has been telling us to fade Genty since April. Yeah. It's a scary fade though. I mean, it is a scary fade. It's super high upside rookie, won every award imaginable, pass catching chops, plays in a dome, team we're kind of excited about, fast paced. Like I just don't want to have none of it. And I'm going to feel really dumb if I'm totally out on that one. All right, let's see. I think I would take one of Allen or Lamar if they fall to me. If those guys do not fall to me, then then do we want JSN or Garrett Wilson? They do not fall to us. Let's see. I'll queue up JSN and then Wilson. I was actually considering pulling Tet McMillan up there, but Tactical Nuclear Penguin takes him. So let's grab JSN. We're not going to bye week hand ring here. And hopefully 6 picks from now, we get somebody we like. Our friend, Mr. Worth, he got Lamar Jackson there. Artillery Frost, GM to you. Great to see you in here this morning. Had a ton of fun drafting the bash with you a couple nights ago. You were a couple picks before me, and I liked the selections you made there. Greg says the look on old Pete Carroll's face when he's truck stick that dude for the touchdown got me a little concerned. Dude's having Marshawn flashbacks. Yeah. God, that was one of the low I am a Dolphins fan, so I am a big Pats hater, and I was already just celebrating this stupid Pats not winning another title, and then they inexplicably just didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch at the goal line. Kevin says, so not scary, so comfy to fade Genty. I sleep like a baby each night knowing there's no Genty boogeyman coming while I sleep. Well, you know who is coming for everybody, Kevin, is Xavier Worthy. And if you're out on Xavier Worthy, you are going to be a sad individual come best ball season. I think Xavier Worthy is an absolute giga smash, and I am taking him hand over fist at this point. Rashi Rice truthers are writing 12 tweet threads on why him getting suspended is actually a good thing for him. It's gotten sad. It's gotten sad for the Rashi Bulls, but you know what? We'll let them believe. We'll let them believe. All right. I said I was going to check my exposure on Neighbors. I'm a little curious here. Where is this? Oh my God. Yeah, they don't put these in dollar order. All right, let's see. Where are we at Genty? So we are underweight on Genty. So I'm glad I got him there. Neighbors were at 7. All right, so we're a little low on there. And London, we're at 14. So we're almost twice the field on Drake London there. For anybody curious about those particular picks, I'm happy doing a Neighbors Genty team. I think that is a perfectly nice addition to the crew. Let's see what Mr. Worth is up to. His full team so far is CMC, Bowers, Lamar, and Henderson. So he's going with a 0 wide receiver approach. But so is Broncos country. Let's ride. So Russell Wilson himself, Underdog does not let you change your username. So unfortunately, I'm kidding, folks. I don't believe this is actually Russell Wilson. I don't want to spread rumors, but assuming it is Russell Wilson, he, just like J-Dubs here, we've got 8 picks, 0 wide receivers between the two of them. Very interesting stuff that's how both people at the middle of the board have done. All right. Taryn says, I'm with you, Dirty P. If I accidentally draft MHJ, I flushed it in my mind. Good gravy. Good gravy. Artillery Frost says, yeah, that relay was amazing. Joel Worth Tactical Nuclear Penguin is a baller screen name. It feels very Reddit coded. I feel like that's a Redditor screen name from Tactical Nuclear Penguin. Artillery Frost, John Wick checks his closet for Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty is going to be so good. Artillery Frost on the other side of the Genty debate. Greg says, so the Reed Jones fracture news has me taking Wicks in the 18th again. Am I too far gone? Time to come up for air. No, because there are people who think it's Christian Watson is actually who you need. So those are the people who are even deeper in the submarine, deeper in the submarine than you. Ken Walker falling here. I'm not very in on Walker at this point, but I am willing to take him if he's there. Let's just take Walker. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we've got Ken Walker on the crew. Again, we got 2 Week 8 buys. This seems to keep happening to us in this spot. Another running back would be nice, but Pearsall's fun. Matthew Golden's more fun. We'll see what happens. With the Jones stuff, let's queue up Golden. We'll queue up Pearsall. I'll queue it like this, and we'll see what happens. Although Kamara might just be better than all of them. So, I don't know if I want a Galaxy brain not take Kamara at pick 64. So let's see what the room decides to hand to us in this particular spot. So Pearsall goes, so that's off the board. Sorry, Kevin. I did have him in the queue. You saw. Let's see what Cutler does. And I will get back to chat. Cutler takes Kamara. Matthew Golden goes. James Conner, of course, is still here. I'm not a bye week bro. I'm actually wondering if I should take Pacheco because I have Worthy. I'm going to take Pollard, though, because I do have a lot of Pacheco Worthy. I want to keep that somewhat even. I don't want to tie those two together every single time. So I'll break the tie to just getting slightly different in this particular team. So we've got Genty, K-Walk, and Tony Pollard, Malik Neighbors, JSN, and Xavier Worthy. On to the crew. Kevin says, I've got Worthy shares at 3-4 turn pre-draft, only 9% post. Well, you're at market. I'll never fault someone for being at market. Alboogie says, hey, I just turned in. I like Rice. Just depends how you constructed your team. Maybe you could sneak him through. I know. I literally just have like 0% Rice, so I have to stand for something. I just think he's going to be very, very hard to get through, missing like more than a third of the season. Like that's a lot of the season. And then you also need him to be good in the playoff weeks, which we think he will be. But I think the issue is my initial opinion is Rashee Rice, missing all this time, they're going to build the offense around Worthy and co. And then when Rice comes back, it's going to be hard for him to unring the bell and for him to be the one. And it's going to continue to be Worthy. Then all of a sudden it became Rashee Rice is going to miss the playoff weeks. Worthy's a smash. And I was almost like, well, I don't think he's actually going to miss the playoff weeks. This might be, better for Rice because we will get Rice early on. And now we're back to the original thesis of Rice missing games early. I think Worthy is going to be an early season smash. And if he is going to be a full season smash. And Rice is not worth where he goes at pick 58. Like it's very hard for me to click Rashee Rice over Debo, over Golden, over Odunze. Like guys that are going to be, there all season that I think could be just as big as spike weeky guys as Rice, who are not missing 6 weeks of the year. So it's just a really tough click for me because we saw like 3 good games of Worthy and we're like, okay, this guy is this guy is like absolutely bonkers. We simply must have him. All right, so we've got Broncos Country, Let's Ride, and Mr. Worth going. Kevin has 22% Worthy pre-draft to pair with 50% Rizzy P. Hey, Kevin, I love your Rizzy P stand. I hope that works out for you because that is you have made that your persona there. All right, let's see. I would take Mahomes, but I think the Redditor is going to take him. All right, let's take, man, I don't like DeAndre Swift. I really don't like DeAndre Swift, guys. But if I'm ever going to take DeAndre Swift, it'll be at pick 81. This is such a defeatist thing. Let's see, this guy, yeah, I knew the Redditor was going to take him with absolutely no affiliation with Kansas City, but you know what? That's what happens when you draft in August. So we will capitulate. We'll take Swift. I've been really out on him, but I will take him, you know, that far past ADP. Joel says, I'm very comfortable going 0 wide receiver, but sometimes you just got to play the board. Yep. If that's what the room's giving you, you got to take what the room's giving you. Are there any Watson people in the chat? Show yourself. I'm telling you, Greg, some of the SEALs who are capable of holding their breath the longest are deep underwater, searching for the ACL timeline on Mr. Watson. I'd really like Pittman. If Pittman goes, then this whole draft is falling apart on me. All right, let's take Michael Pittman here. So we have a 0-4-4-0 with Genty, Walker, Pollard, and DeAndre Swift. So a pretty strong running back room there. And then Neighbors, JSN, Worthy, and Pittman. Would this team feel better if it was a Mahomes-worthy team? Infinitely. But, you know, we have Redditors in our midst taking. I should have just taken Kelsey out of spite for that guy so that he would have to make a Hollywood Brown team. But you know what? Be the change you want to be in the world, as they say. Kevin, at Artillery Frost broke my heart earlier this week when I saw some of the exposures. Oh, Dirty P asking me how much Rashee Rice. I hope it's 0 also. I hope this is one of your fades, Dirty P. Kevin says, when Rice is your wide receiver 6, it's going to be easy to get through. I'm right now the goose meme. What are your running backs, Kevin? What are the running backs? That's my question to you. Now, make sure to like if you haven't. Hey, Best Ball Call, thank you so much for the reminder. Yes, if you haven't liked and subbed, we're going to run one more BBM after this, and we're going to be doing streams all the way to the start of football season. When football season starts, we're going to be streaming BRs, so we're not going anywhere here on Wake Up Best Ball. I'll see exactly what the streaming schedule makes sense, especially on Mondays when it's going to be a little light. I also don't know if I can stream an hour and a half of BRs because they literally take like 5 minutes, and that could end up being like thousands of dollars each week. And I don't actually play super high volume BRs, but we'll see. We're gonna make it work. I'll figure out what we want to do, but you know, at $7 a pop, the main BR really adds up each week. Fortunately, they have some lower dollar contests. So, you know, we'll look at maxing the $3 stuff, the single entry, the $5 stuff. So we're going to make it work. But yes, Best Ball Call. Thanks so much. A full Watson Bull here, Worth. Yes, there we go. Christian Watson Bull. There we go, Mr. Worth. Thank you for showing yourself. Christian Watson jamming him, says Kevin. I told you. There's Christian Watson truthers among us. Savion Williams is the one you need. It is a crowded backfield. Tilty Chad is back. No, I just really want Mahomes worthy team. So it annoys me when you have people just snapping them off for some reason. So of course Brock Purdy is falling to us despite unlike last draft where we actually needed Broccoli Purdy. I could take Justin Fields unstacked. That's not the end of the world, and he's pretty easy to backstack. I'm kind of tempted to take Cooper Kupp. I think I'm even more tempted to take Colston Loveland here. Let's get Loveland into the crew, and God willing, we will get Caleb. If we don't get Caleb here, because someone could easily go Caleb Burden on the turn, like this Cutler guy. I see the wheels turning. We'll queue up Caleb. We'll queue up Drake May. If we get stone 0 of them, we'll do it like this. Oh, I didn't even actually mean to click Scatabo. It just clicks itself. All right, so let's see. I think this is the way that I would play it, but let's see what happens. I'm a little light on Loveland, but I think when we have Swift, Caleb makes a lot of sense. Let's see, this BK Singles guy, he has He has no bears, so he's pretty likely to take Caleb the way things have been going. Let's see what happens. They say Connor has the second easiest running back schedule behind CMC. I don't like MHA, but I love Connor. Someone has to score the touchdowns. Yeah, I definitely considered Connor on this team ahead of Pollard. I did get a little spooked by 3 week 8 buys, but maybe that's, like I shouldn't worry about 1 week of buys for a player we like all season. If Caleb goes, I don't really have a reason to take Goff. We'll just end up having to do a triple back stack if that happens there. He winds the clock. He takes Christian Kirk. All right, we get Caleb onto the team. So this team is a 1-4-4-1 with Caleb Williams, Ashton Genty, Ken Walker, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, and then Malik Neighbors, JSN, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, and Colston Loveland. So not too bad. Not too bad. Not exactly how we wanted to. Of course, this guy just takes Scatterbo because he's a terrible person and has to take everything I love. No, Scatterbo is not going to come back at 129, and he may not be a terrible person. He's probably a nice guy, actually. All right. 20 of 143, Rice, 14%. I have him in redraft and dynasty. Dirty P. I don't know why you just, we're like a beautiful yin and yang. My exposures and yours, they're complete opposites, and then there's like a little dot in each one that represents where we overlap. So we are truly in harmony there, Dirty P. Kevin says you're not going to need running backs once Rice returns. Yes, because Rice famously will be able to slot into the RB spot. Are you still clicking Pacheco as much with the price increase lately? Yes, Hartman. I'm still taking him. I just think it's the same bet as last year, and that bet was paying off until Pacheco got hurt. Pacheco seemingly healthy. He's being dinged because he tried to come back too soon from an injury and help his team and was not ready. But by, everything I've seen, everything from camp is that he's looks like his old self. Not the most explosive back in the world, but could not be in a much better offensive environment. And, if it's him and Kareem Hunt, it's like, I think Pacheco is really going to be the engine of that ground game with some of the other guys. Mixing in, Greg says the Super Sim 150 Max BR dudes scare me. It makes me feel like unwinnable fight. Limited entry BRs feel all right. Yes, not to be the guy that references when they won BR, but I had 22 entries that time. So you can win if you are willing to get a little unique, get a little uncomfortable. Obviously, you have a better chance of winning with 150 entries versus 22. That's just math. But if you're deliberate about your builds, if you take stands, you might just get lucky that 1 week. You really just need that 1 week. But it's a very difficult game. It's a very difficult game, and the Sims and computers are only getting better and better. Wide receiver has gotten absolutely disgusting here. Dear God, people. And we are like on the clock. Oh my God. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't think it's Jordan Love. Cripes. Did we get it? We took Kyle Pitts for some weird reason. I kind of panicked. Oh, and they both have week 5 buys. That was awful. Well, we roll with it. I like Brian Robinson as the CMC backup. I was opening Pitts because I could do Penix, but now I'm running into week 5 buy issues. Probably McCarthy would have been better because I could have done like McCarthy Thielen late. I didn't want to leave this turn with no quarterbacks in case they dry up terribly. If one of these guys take Penix, I'm really in a bind. This group of running backs is fine, but I don't think it's a must. So let's hope BK Singles does not take Penix from us. Let's see what happens. No, he takes Samson. All right, so yeah, this one got away from us, guys. I'm a little disappointed. I don't have many BBMs left, so I want them all to be good. And I don't know if that was great, Pitts Penix, but you know what? Opinions may vary there. I don't love relying on your second stack with a running back if your primary quarterback is also paired with a tight end. I said tight end. Running back, I meant tight end. Not the best stuff. Not the best stuff from us this morning. Ryder asking, hey, Ryder, GM2, thanks so much for coming in. You joining the Drafters Overlay. Short answer is no. I am not doing that. The longer answer is I'm assuming, I'd like to think you asked that because you just saw me completely flub that pick and you're just like, come on in, like more beatable people. But no, I'm not, only because I have not done any, like, I don't want to say research, but I haven't done any full season stuff. So I feel like I would be not getting it in great. Although obviously with the overlay and good rankings, it's probably plus EV to do it. I just haven't had the time. Greg says, I want to be a ball knower, not a computer knower. Yeah, I mean, if you're not having fun doing this, you shouldn't do it. Like this is not a great way to make money. Like it is, very few people are actually profitable in best ball and BRs. Like that's just the truth of it. It's very difficult to actually be profitable. So if you're not having fun, then it's not worth it. Like you have to consider, if you want to try to make this a living and just grind every single edge, you can do that. But I would just say that is a very few people can do that long term. I mean, we've seen big names flame out in DFS and stuff because the game is it is so difficult. There's so much variance. You can be the best BR player in the world and have an unprofitable year. Like it just there's no guarantee of like making money in this pursuit. So it's got to be fun. And what's more fun than taking Kyle Pitts and Michael Penix for no reason there? Dirty P passed on Zay Flowers, pick 67 with the Lamar team. No means, gosh, Dirty P. That's why I have you in the Hertzig. Hedge candles. Yes. Well, again, I am $5,300 in Hertzig. And if you see me draft today, you'll see why. Joel says, great. Now Chad's going to wreck tight ends in this room. Yeah. Well, I'm wrecking everything. I'm wrecking my own team above all. Kelly saying to draft better. Hey, Kelly, thanks for coming in and hanging out. I will try to draft better, but apparently I am hardwired to completely foul things up here. All right, let's see. Where is the Bowers drafter? Bowers drafter is J-Dubs. J-Dubs, I've got some bad news for you, my friend, because I think you can see where this is going. This is nothing personal. I'm going to try to channel my inner shady advice. I'm not going to get him because one of these bozos is going to do it. Don't do it to me, room. Give me Geno Smith. I'm trying to take Geno and do a Geno, Dante Thornton, Ashton Genty stack here. So let's see if we can get it. If we can't get it, then the tilt is going to reach a new all-time high in this room. And we're going to have to take like Tua and Malik Washington later. And this team is just gone off the rails. So let's see if we can do the Geno bit here. BK singles takes Xavier. Lee gets. So we get Geno. We get the third quarterback without having to resort to anything truly heinous on this team. Greg says, nah, it's all fun. Beating the Sims is the fun. I fight AI at work every single day. Well, thank you for fighting the good fight for the people. I'd like to think you're like the John Connor of work. Fighting for the humans. Joel says, I've got Lamar and Purdy, not even thinking about taking another QB. He's all yours. Okay, good. I was actually mostly asking that to see if he was over here, then there was a good chance that he got snapped off after taking Thornton, and I really didn't want just like Thornton unstacked on this particular team. So for the audio listeners, we've got a 3-4-5-2. We got Caleb Penix and Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Ken Walker, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Malik Neighbors, JSN, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Dante Thornton, and then Colston Loveland and Kyle Pitts. Do you know how I like to say I like this team? I don't really like this team. This team absolutely got away from me. There's no way for me to spin it like it didn't. I can say that it's a little different from other teams I've built, but my primary pass catchers are generally unstacked. I've got weird bye week issues. I feel like the wheels fell off for me just a touch, and where it really went awry was with the Pitts pick here. I kind of panicked, but I don't really know who I would have taken, even in the cold light of day. I don't know what I would have done. A lot of the guys I was targeting had already gone, and at least we do have a Penix Pitts stack, so it's not the end of the world. It truly is not the end of the world, but it is not my finest hour, admittedly, how we've gone. Joel said, oh, already pulled that up. All right. So I'll keep the draft board up so people can see what's going on. So let's see what what he did after taking Lamar. He went with Hendo, Travis Hunter, Rome Odunze, Juwan Jennings at 79, kind of nice. Josh Downs, Brock Purdy, Reed, Braylon Allen, Blue, Hollywood Brown, and Jalen Coker at 162. Like the Coker pick. That makes sense. Thinking about it, maybe I could have done Bryce Young, Jalen Coker. That could have been more, potentially more fun than Thornton and Geno. But I mean, I did just do a Young Coker connection, and I have a little bit of that in BBM here. Chig coming around. That is certainly a clickable name there. Additional running backs we might be interested in. Keaton Mitchell, I like. Been trying to get that exposure a touch higher. Wide receivers, we've got Ray McLeod. We've got potential for Jack Betch. So I think ideally we would do Mitchell here. I think let's do that. Let's get Mitchell onto the team. Been looking to get that slightly higher than we've been. Chris Rodriguez goes. I think. Let's see. We got Genty, Walker, Pollard, Swift, and now Mitchell. Maybe we stop at 5 running backs again on this team and try to shore up Neighbors, JSN, Worthy, Pittman, and Thornton. So maybe this ends up being a 3-5-7 team again. DJ Giddens probably would have been the next running back for us. We could do the Fannin bet. Let's see what other wide receivers make sense. Trying to think of guys who haven't been drafted this whole time. Amari Cooper, somebody that I have absolutely none of, but maybe that actually makes a little bit of sense. I think Jack Betch is still basically free. I think at BBM, I'm still more excited about Betch there. Let's do the Fannin bet. And close that down. I think that's kind of a big upside swing that this team needs, and we should be able to get a couple wide receivers to close it out that we're into. So, you know what I am going to do though, because time is running out. I'm going to hop into next BBM because I want to get done before Davis comes on. So we're waiting for 6. If you want to hop into this one. ATX Bearcat says GM 1 BBM left. Can't bring myself to enter it. ATX Bearcat, you got to do it when it calls to you. You'll know when the time is right. Best ball on call with a couple seals. Yep. I am nothing if not a slappy seal here. All right, let's see. We'll pull this back up. I'll pull the board up so you can see what people are doing as we wait for the other draft to fill. J-Dubs, he takes the plunge on Tajay Spears with Chig Okonkwo. I like that. Spears at 186. That's pretty free. I mean, he's still in a boot. He's not going to be ready for. I think he's on IR, so he's going to miss the first few weeks. But in a week 17 is all that matters contest. I don't mind that. I don't mind that click at pick 186. I mean, there's a lot of teams with him in the 130s, so you're definitely getting it in better on him. And with Chig, you have a little bit of a team bet there. Oh, for the Fannin bet. Absolutely. I couldn't resist. I wanted a little Fannin in my life. If Amari Cooper comes around, we can consider that still. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like week 17 Cooper is who you need. But then again, I mean, it's the 17th and 18th round. So we will see. Roman Wilson goes to this guy. So great username there in the 3 hole. Surprised that Underdog is letting that one slip on through. But hey, who knows? All right, we're coming back up. Who do we want at wide receiver? A few names. Malik Washington is somebody that I've been trying to get a little bit of. I'd probably end this team with, gosh darn it, the Redditor. This darn Redditor taking everything from me. Yeah. All right, we're just gonna take Betch here because I think that's fine. I if they do move Jacoby Myers, that's interesting. And I literally just saw Shady Advice take Thornton and Betch, so I am nothing if not easily impressionable. So we'll do that and try to learn something there. All right. Joel says only need Spears to cover the CMC Travion week 14 buy. Fine with that price. Yeah, not too bad. Let me just make sure. All right, that draft is. Oh, I'm 3 picks away in this one. What pick am I? I'm pick 7. All right. Well, I have my ranks in, so we'll find out who we get in a second. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm clicking the wrong buttons here. Full panic here. We're gonna get one more wide receiver in the room. Right, of course, McLeod and Cooper go, the two that I was interested in. All right, let's do AD Mitchell. He feels a little weird without one of the quarterbacks, but we do already have Pittman, so we're making a little bit of a bet on the Colts team. So this team ends up being a 3-5-7-3. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Geno Smith. Running back room of Ashton Genty, Ken Walker, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Keith Mitchell. And then Malik Neighbors, JSN, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Dante Thornton, Jack Betch, and AD Mitchell. And then tight ends of Loveland, Pitts, and Fannin. As I said before, not my finest hour. Not the worst team in the world, but not the worst team in the world. And let's see what we got. So we got a Justin Jefferson team there at the 7. Let's see, did any of you all get in? Don't think so. I don't think so. Tyler, hey, GM2, thanks so much for coming in. How are we feeling about the Big Pete debut chat? Yeah, I had a big week. I got to be in the guillotine, and so I got to come on for a few minutes in the guillotine league, and then I was in the best ball bash, and so I was the hammer that closed out the team that 6 of us drafted, including Artillery Frost, who's in the chat, and that was so much fun. Got to hang out with Pete for a bit after on the stream, and that was so cool. I mean, he is such a good host. I mean, he knows how to talk to people. He knows how to keep the conversation natural and flowing. So I was very lucky to do that. So that was really cool. And I did finally get to, I did get to make amends for a couple debacles that happened last year on Twitter. So I was appreciative of that opportunity. Best ball on call. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattering. Yeah. Shady Advice. It's like, notice me, senpai, as I ask. I want Shady Advice to see that I'm paying attention to him. Justin Jefferson is the guy on this team. Let's see what we want to do. If I really want to imitate Shady Advice, I could take Brock Bowers on this team. I have the opportunity to do that. Let's do something a little more our speed and take Bucky Irving instead, though. I'm not the biggest Bowers guy out there. Not the biggest Bowers guy there. Joel says taking Watson for the bet. Joel, I'm sorry I couldn't review your team at the very end. I was rushing. I want to get this done before Davis comes on, and I have worries that this draft is going to move slowly. So we'll see what we can do. Greg says, got to get this guy up to 200 subs. Blast the Discords or something. Hey, Greg, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. But yep, if you have not subbed, please do so. It would be super fun to get to 200. I'm hoping, at the very least that it happens before week 5. We'll see. Maybe I'm wondering if BR audiences are different, so we'll get some new folks who want to watch BR content versus just the best ball stuff. But we'll see. Deciding how much to put like in the title, like BR champ drafts the winner again. Like really lean into the one time that I actually shipped something annoyingly. But we'll see. We'll see how much we have to ham it up here. ATX Bearcat says, is it true that Pete beat out Flock for the YouTube NFL Friday game? Pete described it best last night on his stream, the story. So I don't want to retell Pete's tale, but it was not described in any way as any kind of competition. So I would leave it to the way Pete put it. But no, I don't know if that's the case, but it did not sound like it was any kind of YouTube contest between anybody. Best Ball On Call, agree with Greg. Thanks Best Ball On Call. Likewise, I appreciate you out there in the content minds, if you haven't subscribed to Best Ball on Call, he has been a longtime friend of the channel, and I truly means a lot having you come on in. Joel says, no worries, when I win the 2 million with this team, there'll be plenty of time to review and dissect it. Yes. It'll be nice to, you can point to this, you can point people to this stream. We could have a symbiotic relationship. You get $2 million and I'll get a few clicks, and that's probably pretty even trade up starting that rumor. Oh no. Well, this channel is not a rumor monger, not a rumor mongering channel, but I guess I do have a rumor that I'm going to start once I make my next pick. I can't pick MHJ or the chat is just going to riot. So I'll take Omari and Hampton here at pick 12. Although, with Najee back, it is kind of scary having a Cyclops in the backfield. That does feel like pretty strong. No, the rumor I'm starting is that Brian Dable and Cam Scatabo are going out on Halloween together as Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. And that is super bullish for my Scatabo shares. So that's the official Chad Candles rumor that we're going to get started here. So hopefully we can will that into existence, and it's not just a rumor, because I have a really funny image in my head of that taking place. For the audio listeners who don't want to imagine Cam Scatabo and Brian Dable traipsing through the streets in matching costumes, we got a 0-2-1-0. Bucky Irving, Omarion Hampton, and Justin Jefferson. So far, so good. We'll see what we can't see on this team. Craig says, fairly won. Where's Flocks? Best Ball Bro. That Best Ball Bro video, like, we as a Best Ball community do not deserve someone working that hard. That video was the most hyper niche of hyper niche content, and it was directed for our amusement. And my God, that was could not have been better. So video was absolutely hilarious. I actually half thought of when I was going to go on Pete's stream of wearing the t-shirt with my salary on it and being the basement dweller, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to seem like a biter or anything, but that, basement Best Ball Bro was pretty darn funny. All right, I'll take Jaden Daniels at pick 42. That seems good. So we're just scooping ADP value in this room here. We got Daniels, Bucky, Omarion Hampton, and Justin Jefferson. I already like this team more than the last one. Craig says Cam Newton is going to vibe with the Best Ball Bro video. I hope Pete shows up in a crazy hat. Well, we can count on Pete to read the room and know what's going to land with his co-host. So I think if Cam Newton is the kind of guy with a sense of humor about the crazy hats, then maybe we could see something like that. But yeah, that is such a cool that's so cool that we we as a community are at least in some way represented on that broadcast. Plus a pump for the game. I mean, my God, we're getting real football in less than a week now. And Friday we get to watch the terrible turf in Brazil. Hopefully not eat any of our favorite players. That's a little bit unfortunate. I'm worried about Xavier Worthy and Lad McConkey on that turf that destroyed Love's knee last year. ATX Bearcat says, don't show that video to anyone you know IRL. Yes. I would not show that to my wife. I would not show that to her. She wouldn't get it, and she would just think that I'm even weirder than she already thinks. Best Ball On Call says, I'm genuinely curious if there'll be a live chat during the broadcast. I think it would just be too crazy. I imagine someone in the Best Ball community will have some kind of live stream going. I don't know which group will do it, but a lot of the times they do those for primetime games. So I'm sure that'll be kind of the unofficial place to react to Pete's stuff. Oh my gosh, Jalen Hurts. Okay, I was like, please don't come back, Jalen Hurts. All right. So we're up at pick 55. Pick 55, kind of an interesting range. The Devonta Smith we've talked a lot about. He's still here. All right, let's take Devonta. Again, this is this is the ADP value. This is the ADP value draft here. We've gotten everybody on this team past ADP. So this is the the least exciting draft, but probably one of the better teams that we've concocted so far today. Because I did not love the last team. I liked the team before, but let's see. Some of this is going to come down. Are we able to get Debo at pick 66, like right at ADP? So we'll see if we can get that. If we can get that, then we're going to feel really good about this particular team. Best Ball on Call says I would think so as well. Just haven't heard anything. Yeah, I think everybody's just in full scramble to wrap up their best ball content. That maybe that hasn't come up again. Pete and Davis are back to back. I think it's actually, I misspoke before. Pete is on at 10. Davis is on when that ends. I don't know if that's 3 p.m. Eastern or what, but it is a full day of best ball, and we're happy to be the unofficial opening act for that. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you're excited about football season. I hope you're happy with your exposures. And again, I just appreciate hanging out with you all as we get this train rolling here. Would we take Rashee Rice at pick 66? I guess we'll never know because he's not in our queue here. But I was considering putting him at the end of the queue. Travis Hunter goes, do we get Debo? I'd be happy with Matthew Golden too, but I really want Debo with Jaden Daniels. We'll see what Nebballer24 does. He takes Diggs. All right, so we get our guy. I'm not worried about McLaurin coming and usurping anything. Kind of always assumed McLaurin would be part of the team. So we got Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Omarion Hampton, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, and Debo Samuel. Dare I say I like the team. I like the team a lot more than the last one. Now let's check the board, make sure nobody's doing anything too wonky. And speaking of wonky, we got somebody going Lamar Hurts. So I guess he saw Hurts at pick 53, decided he couldn't pass on that value. So I'm very glad to have Daniels because QB could be a little squirrely in this room with, one of the elite, people with elite quarterback have a tendency to just take 2 QBs. Now that they're on the same team, somebody that might have taken 2 is now taking 3, plus they're going earlier. So it can have kind of weird knock-on effects. It's just something to keep an eye on in your rooms. The Scooter guy, he's trying to build out a Vegas stack, but we'll see if Jacoby Myers is even on the Raiders by the time the season wraps up. For us, we're going to hit that weird pocket of injured receivers and running backs. I'd probably take one of the running backs over the receivers, but we'll see what the room hands to us. Hartman asking, Chad, do you have any exposures you wish you did differently? Not more like a Riser or less Judkins, but is there anyone you unintentionally had a lot more or less than you planned? I'll give you 2, and one is obvious, but not for the reason why. Hold on, let me make this pick, and then I will get that to you. I'm between like Laporta and Mason here. I think I would lean Mason. I do like Laporta though, because he's been a faller since where the contest opened, whereas Mason's been a riser. But I think Mason with Jefferson is just a better bet on an offense. Okay. I still have like 8% Joe Mixon in post-draft stuff, including BBM. And I'm not just upset that the Mixon bet fell apart. I just didn't realize how high I was. I haven't taken Mixon in over a month. I have not taken him since he got hurt. So for some reason, I was way over market. I felt like he was a vegetable pick. I really liked Houston's playoff schedule. But I must have been at near 20% Mixon before the injury news started trickling out, because I just went to like a hard stop on him. So unintentionally had more Mixon. Everyone wishes they had less Mixon, so that's kind of a dull answer. I'm weirdly low on Ra. I wish I was a little closer to market on him, but I do feel like I have almost 30% worthy, so that maybe has subconsciously been somewhat intentional, but I do like Amon-Ra. I feel like I like the Lions late season. All their games are in a dome in the playoffs, and Amon-Ra is just an absolute stud. So I'd say mix in for the longer answer if I get to explain myself, and then probably Amon-Ra. Those are the two that I feel probably most strongly about. Hawkinson could come to us, which is sort of fun. Keon Coleman, though, is a little bit tempting. All right, I'm going to take Hawkinson because we're really going to lean into this Vikings bet, and then this will make JJ McCarthy a priority on this team. All right, Best Ball on Call says double elite for 4 should make Jaden more valuable. Yep, 100% agree. And let's see what he's done. Has he done anything too weird since then? Nope. He stacks Lamar and Andrews, which does make sense there. I feel like, I don't know if taking Rice on his team makes a lot of sense. Like, now you're starting to get really thin because not only, you've guaranteed one of these guys is not playing in your lineup every single week. Now you've guaranteed a guy's not going to hit your lineup for, probably at least 6 weeks at the beginning. So that to me, if I'm going to take Rice, it's probably not a team where I've done double elite QB. But hey, your opinions may vary. Opinions may vary on that. Hartman asked, you ever do a Laporta Hawkinson double tap? I have done it, and I've definitely used to do it more in the big board, where you get 20 rounds and you could do a lot of rookie dart throws. I would do that a lot. I haven't done it much in BBM, but I don't hate it. I really don't. I feel like again, double elite tight end can get you home more than maybe the Best Ball intelligentsia will tell you. All right, let's see. JJ McCarthy's ADP is 124. Where's the Addison drafter? The Addison drafter always seems to be the one that loves taking McCarthy from us. Let's see. The hunt is on. All right, Addison here is at the turn. All right, so that tells me if I want him, I probably got to take him at 114 because the Addison drafter has no quarterback. So we'll pencil McCarthy in there and see what we can get here at pick 103. See what we can get at 103. Now, Jaden Reed's in a boot. The news on Godwin is kind of mixed. It actually seems a little better than maybe it was. Rashid Shaheed is a fun click that I'm sympathetic to making. There goes Godwin. Okay, I was gonna say I was a little bit intrigued by Godwin because this is a Bucky team, but let's just get Rashid Shaheed into the crew here, and then let's queue up JJ McCarthy and hope that nobody takes him. I don't know why they would. It would be kind of weird to see him go, especially with kind of a bunch of good quarterbacks kind of insulating us from anyone who would just snap him off for no reason. Greg says, I think I'm worried about my quasi-zero RB teams. Kamara, Connor, Ken Walker making me nervous about getting buried early. So your zero RB teams don't even go into that range. You're talking like true zero RB where you're waiting till round 8 plus. Yeah, I mean, I like that range of running back. I feel like there's some super high upside players in there. Just nobody's excited to click Kamara until like week 8 when Kamara's like the RB6 and you're like, yeah, I probably should have taken that guy. He's pretty good. Let's see. Kamara, Connor, K-Walk is RB1. Oh, okay. I think that's fine. I think it's doable. I mean, we'll see. Running backs can be kind of weird. Injuries are common. Last year we had a pretty good run out with running back injuries, but yeah, I don't mind that. But again, if I'm doing 150 teams, I'm going to have a mix, right? Like I don't just draft one style. I do try to mix up how I draft my teams. I just want to make sure I have a backup plan in mind if McCarthy goes. I do not need to do that. No huge ADP value. Let's just take JJ McCarthy and get our Vikings triple. So for the audio listeners, we've got a 2-3-4-1. Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy at quarterback, Bucky Irving, Avarian Hampton, Jordan Mason at running back, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, Tebow Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, and then TJ Hawkinson. All right. Hartman says, nah, I feel that, man. I've got some super high T builds for sure. Sweating this already. Best Ball On Call says, just need him to chaperone, Greg. Hartman says, oh, you're good. Who do you think is burying Kamara early season? Yeah, I'm with you, Hartman. Probably the Saints. I feel like Kamara can PPR scam his way through Spencer Rattler life, who apparently looks better. Like, remember, these guys, rookie quarterbacks can improve. Like, they can get better. I mean, if you want to go really old school, Peyton Manning was god-awful his rookie year. Now, I know, you're comparing Spencer Rattler to Peyton Manning. I'm saying it in the sense that players can improve. Like, you can get better. It does not matter your rookie season if it's bad. There's going to be growing pains. The speed of the NFL is lightning fast compared to college. And Rattler was, at one point a good prospect. So I'm not saying he's going to be Peyton Manning, but I'm saying like he could, make a leap into mediocrity, which you take every day of the week with the Saints at this point. You accept mediocrity with open arms. And I think Spencer Rattler is a candidate to do that. Greg says, no one I even buy to the Kamara trade deadline talk as Nola tanks for Arch or for A-Rich, or yes, Archie Manning. Dear God, they're not tanking for A-Rich. No one is. Yes, yeah. Best Ball On Call the Saints bearing them. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Sometimes these like imploding teams trading everyone's stuff, it ends up being more like hypothetical than in reality. It's sometimes a lot harder for teams to move on from players. Brian Robinson, Ramondre. This is another kind of gross range. Keenan Allen is interesting. I almost feel like I'm going to take Kincaid and make this a 2 tight end team. We'll just do Hawkinson, Kincaid, and call it there. That was a little bit of a punt pick, but I wasn't ready to commit to, a random unstacked quarterback. I don't think that's good. And there's a lot of these running backs that I'm somewhat neutral on. Let's see, where am I picking next? 151. If I really want another quarterback, I can take one at 151. At 162, I could still take that next tier down. And then maybe at 175, if I want like a Jackson Dart, I could. I don't know if this is the Dart team, being that we don't have Neighbors or Scatabo. I kind of prefer that to a pure Dart back stack. But we'll see. Accepting mediocrity with open arms is my motto for life. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be for everything, but we have to recognize that sometimes like just okay is okay. And when it comes to the Saints quarterback, we can do it. Yes, with arms wide open, just like Nickelback. If we want to accept mediocrity, Nickelback would do the anthem for that. So I think we're all on the same page here, guys. We've really built something special. We've really built something special here this morning. All right, let's see what else we want to do. We don't want to do Penix and Pitts again. That wasn't fun. Gosh, it's thin. It's so thin here. Like I kind of want to take Ollie Gordon because that's just fun. But it's probably Austin Eckler makes the most sense if he's still here, because we do have Daniels, and that just seems like it makes too much sense to pass on this particular team. So we add Austin Eckler to a little bit of a Washington bet here. Oh, Creed, but I got the reference. Shoot, I thought it was Nickelback. They're all terrible. They're all the same. Do it. Yeah, who sings that? Yikes. Big fail here. But you know what? You can listen to Nickelback or Creed and on the same. They probably appear on a lot of Spotify playlists together. Yeah, thanks, Greg, for clearing up the great Creed Nickelback discussion there. Let's see. We still only have four core. I keep punting off wide receiver, saying I'll figure it out later, and later is fast. is fast approaching on this team. Fortunately, if we stop at Hawkinson and Kincaid, we can get 7 receivers, and surely we can't whiff on 3 in a row. Surely we will be able to figure it out there. Let's just sort by the ranks here. Okay, I think we'll see if we can do it. I don't think we're going to get Bryce Young. I think one of these bozos is going to take Young, especially Scooter here. It looks like the King Bozo with Chuba Hubbard. It makes too much sense for this guy to not take Young, but we'll see. We'll see if we can take Bryce Young. We will. If Bryce Young is gonzo, then we're gonna have a decision to make. We might just go super late quarterback. Brian Robinson, of course, at this point, I'm willing to take the direct backup to CMC. Oh, he takes Gino. Let's see. Oh, he was the Myers-Bowers guy. Okay. That obviously makes a lot more sense. I would love to go Young and Coker. There. A little scared we won't get. Okay, B-Rob goes. All right, that makes the decision easy. Let's get Bryce Young onto the field here so we get a third quarterback. Let's put Leggett and Coker into the queue. I do feel like for my money in a vacuum, I prefer Jalen Coker. I don't know why we're drafting best ball teams in the vacuum of space, but if we were, I still would prefer Coker to Leggett. Craig says, same difference. I'm more of a puddle of mud guy. Stained, puddle of mud, all the same band. Yeah, I get those dreadfully mixed up. A lot of those guys. Hartman says, I only listen to rap because I can relate to living on the mean streets. Yes, and for best ball intro videos, you need to know your rap. Hartman needs to get hit on the BBM. Needs to hit on BBM to get out of these streets. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this crummy old town. He didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose him. All right, we'll get Kurt. I know I said I was gonna stop at 2 tight ends, but if Coker goes, maybe I do want Zach Ertz. That might be bad. Let's get Tesla. Thielen and Tesla. I mean, I don't know if I need a quad Minnesota stack. That feels a touch aggressive to me. That feels like a little potentially too much, but I don't hate it. Let's just get Coker. Let's just get Coker into the field. I think that's kind of fun there. It's just hard to imagine a world where Thielen helps without the team being way behind in other places. Maybe that's wrong. I wouldn't mind Thielen if he comes back to me, but I don't think he will. I don't think Tesla will either. Tesla immediately goes. Tesla, of course, would have been a bring back, but I think it would have been a mistake to not take Coker there. No, I don't think I want to. Well, all right, I'm going to put Najee in. We can table that discussion. Will Shipley chasing Rico Dowdle, I think, makes sense on a Carolina-based team. Let's get just some of these running backs into the potential queue here, and then we can discuss what we want to do. Let's see these ranks. Okay. All right. Martman says, for real, Greg, I'm just out here trapping daily. Well, we're all doing what we got to do to get by. And speaking of getting by, if you can like and sub, that would mean a ton on this wonderful Friday morning edition of Wake Up Best Ball on the road to 200 subs. Again, Pete's coming live in 6 minutes. Will this draft be done in 6 minutes? I don't know. It's going to depend how fast people go. And the problem is people set their queues and leave and don't push the plane and make everything impossible. So a little unfortunate because I started early to try to get out of here by 10, and I don't know if it's going to happen. We're going to try. We are going to try. I don't hate the handcuffing with Hampton and Najee. If Najee is at pick 161, I think that's actually defensible. It does seem like Harris is clearly the RB2 over there. Other wide receivers we can add. I can queue up Thornton. Let's see. Daniels. We can queue up another guy that people haven't taken much BBM of. Let's see Jalen Lane. He's risen a bit. I don't know if he's fallen back because McLaurin signed. Io Manor is kind of fun. I tend to get him on teams with Ward. Let's see who else. Don't really want Cooper. Malik Washington is I think is a guy we should definitely be interested in. Just in general, if not necessarily on this team. Greg says trapping and spreading misinformation, diabolical. Yeah, I'm telling you. Najee goes. All right, that's fine. I think Dowdle makes more sense with the Bryce Young thing. So let's do that. We'll continue this Carolina bet. If I get beaten by Trevor Etienne, at least I'll have a story for the kids on why we're living in a we're living behind a Mr. Tire on the railroad tracks. So a big train of backup running backs goes. Shipley, of course, was the guy I was interested in. Best ball call. Honestly, the community is awesome. We all support. They're trying to do the same thing. Yeah. And it's definitely more supportive than DFS community, which always feels it's much more direct dog eat dog, and people keep their picks close to the vest. People can get squirrely with stuff there. Whereas in best ball, we're all willing to be like, I'm taking this guy. If you want him, go ahead, because everybody's 100% owned, until you get into the deep sleepers, and even those guys, like at a certain point, the efficiency of the market is going to identify a guy that is like going to be a league winner. You're very unlikely to find like some hidden gem and jam them every time and nobody's on it. So I do like that. So I really do like the best ball community. I find that it's a much more positive place than DFS, where everyone's just like mad somebody else won money that they feel entitled to. All right, let's see. I think I want Giddens more than the receivers here. Giddens is to me just a smash as a late running back, and God willing, we will be able to find 2 wide receivers to end this team that we like. If anyone has any names they like, speaking of asking for stuff, I will ask you, dear listeners, if there's anyone you think I should be into. I'm just gonna click some names. I don't know why I'm clicking. I mean, you got to think 99% of Ray McLeod teams have Penix on them, and those that don't are probably bringbacks to Stafford teams. So we could put that in. We could put in Turpin. We could put in Josh Reynolds. These are all just people. If anyone's curious as to the absolute dust balls I've clicked on, we saw shady advice. Take Kayshon Boutte. I could add him to the queue. So that's I mean, Slayton. I probably would rather have Slayton or Franklin than any of these guys, but the odds are they're going to be gone. So just some names in the queue. Just poking fun at Hartman for Schilling. Big hero running back. Well, could be what you need. Greg, I have a BBM with Jordan Mason RB1. I'm just gaslighting people so they keep taking running backs early. You got to do what you got to do. So I respect that. I respect the hustle there. All right, let's see. Probably prefer Jalen Lane to the group, just being that this is a Jaden Daniels. This is a Jaden Daniels operation. Fannin is still here, folks. If we think Jefferson, Devontae, Debo, Shaheed, and Coker are enough, we could do the Fannin bet. I don't know, guys. Part of me is okay. Fannin goes. Thank goodness, because I was the temptation was coming on very very strongly for me. I almost feel like Darius Slayton is just a better pick than any of these guys, even Jalen Lane. Like I'm just gonna take Slayton. I know it's not that exciting, but I think he's good. Like, I think the Giants signed him to be out there. So I will take the Slayton share here. I know Evan Silva is a big Slayton guy. I feel like at pick 199, they paid Slayton a lot of money. We all think Dart is going to be good. I don't mind that. I don't mind that there. And who knows if this neighbor's foot stuff, if they're awful and they shut him down because, he's dealing with this chronic toe thing. I'm willing to try that. Jalen Lane goes, but I'm okay with that. I have, between Debo and Eckler and Daniels, I feel like that's a big enough bet on Washington. There, Hartman says the answer is different types can work, depends on the room. Yep. No, it is so much fun to just like talk shop here. Again, all right, so this team, I'm going to wrap up the team and then end the stream. We got Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young, Bucky Irving, Omarion Hampton, Jordan Mason, Austin Eckler, Rico Dowdle, and DJ Giddens, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, Debo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Coker, Darius Slayton, and then TJ Hawkinson and Dalton Kincaid. We're going to take one more receiver. I'm going to queue up Malik Washington. I'm probably happy with this order, and then I will make the pick, and the stream will be right at 10, assuming these guys don't all take the full clock, but I think these people, again, have set their queue, and then just could not be bothered to push the plane, which is a little unfortunate because it's going to be like 10:01 when we get off. Yes, happy Friday, dude. See you in the chat streets. Yes, I will be a chat rat in the Pete streets and in the Davis Maddock universe. So again, thank you all so much for hanging out. So much fun doing this. Again, maybe I'll get on this weekend. Maybe I will, because it is the end of best ball summer. Best ball on Call It Good Stuff. Chad, like and sub. Hey, thanks everybody. Truly, truly, truly appreciate the support and hanging out with all of you guys. And we'll take Malik Washington. We'll call it a stream. And thank you all. I'll see you all soon. Take care, everyone.